Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to this epic podcast. This is a place where you are encouraged and you have absolute freaking permission to unapologetically go after all of your dreams, all of your visions, all of your things on your vision board, like everything that your heart desires. I'm your host, Angharad, the High Vibe Babe, and I believe that we're all in this life to expand and experience our wildest dreams. If one of us can have it, then we all can. So that is the aim of this podcast. Each week I'll either be going solo or have guests with the aim to inspire, uplift you and give you the tools for you to live your most epic AF life and business possible. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @HighVibeBabe. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey babe, Angharad here, High Vibe Babe. I am so damn excited to speak about when we're desiring our relationships to be really balanced and masculine and feminine, and for our men, our woman, our partner, whoever it is, to take care of us and to step into the masculine and to do romantic things, and for us to just lean back and chill out and actually lean back and receive, and like them take us on dates and then take care of us. But it doesn't happen. And we're like, why the fuck won't this happen? I really desire it. I want to share some light, because this is something that I sat in for a very long time, and I have some magic to share with you. Some actual fucking magic. Some magic. Okay, so I'm Angharad the High Vibe Babe, multi-six-figure cosmic coach. And one of the things I love to talk about a lot, which I know my guides are kicking me in the ass to talk about more, which is literally why I'm here today, because I've been connecting with my guides. I'm deep in crone, and I had to show up and talk about this as masculine and feminine energy, and how this really impacts our life, both within like ourselves and within our energy, right? Within our coaching, within our businesses, within our lives, but also how this affects our relationships. It's massive, absolutely massive. I shared in my stories last night a quote about how my husband made an amazing dinner, and then he tidied up the whole kitchen. In fact, he wasn't just tidied it, he like actually spring cleaned the fucking kitchen while I sat there and enjoyed. I relaxed with my kids. I chilled out. I watched Netflix when he was like sprinkling the kitchen after dinner. Even after I took that photo, I was sitting there watching Netflix and just enjoying. And we talked about it and like paused it. We were kind of like, he was kind of half watching the movie. And we really, truly enjoyed the moment. And there was so many times in my life where this is what I wanted. I wanted to be taken care of. I wanted to be able to receive. I wanted to see my man like step up and lead and be the masculine, and honestly to take care of me. For so many years in my life, I felt like I had to do it all for myself. And he wasn't going to do it, so I had to do it, and he would never do it right anyway. And so that's what I perpetuated in my life, into my relationship. Now, one of the reasons why this continues to happen, okay, why they are unable to step into the masculine, is because you are not dropping into your feminine, boo. It has to match. They have to match. And when we are sitting there being like, oh, I'll just go and do it anyway. I'll just have to go and do it. Or they try and step up and we like slam them and we're like, oh, don't do it like that. We demasculate them. We've taken the driver's seat, which means they're going to drop into their feminine. So what it takes is you learning to be okay to the extent that, so in the feminine, right? Feminine is all about flow. She doesn't give a shit about results. She just cares about how it feels. She cares about seeing the best in things. She cares about, the energy of the room and the flow of the music. She doesn't actually care about how good the food looks. And what happens is, while we're still halfway in our feminine, while we're like, oh, I want to receive, but I'm going to nitpick things, that's not actually in your feminine. And you push them out of their masculine. My Joe is very much equality, and sometimes I crave for him to take in lead and show it for himself, and he just doesn't. So what would you do? Drop into the feminine? Yeah. So dropping into your feminine, there are so many things. There are so many things you can do. It gets to really, truly be fun. And the more you decondition your masculine, the more you will be able to drop into your feminine. And it's actually about healing our masculine and feminine energy wounds, right? Because we can only go as deep as the water is. Like, as deep as the waterbed is, rather, is only as deep as the feminine can be. So the masculine is like the waterbed and the feminine is the water, right? So we actually need both. But for us to be able to receive more within our relationships, right, to be in our feminine more, we actually have to go into our feminine and masculine within ourselves, right? Heal the masculine wounds that prevent us from being in our feminine. Because what happens is, when we have a lot of masculine wounds, we can't actually go very deep into a feminine, right? Because the waterbed, right? Say the waterbed of the masculine is this deep. That's how deep the water is, right? When we heal our masculine wounds, our waterbed goes like this. And it goes, and it will continue going forever and ever and ever and ever. You can get more and more and more depths, which means that you can flow and hold more feminine energy. One of the people that I love for this is Jake Woodard. I think that's just his handle, is @JakeWoodard. He is amazing and has helped me move through so much masculine and feminine energy trauma. But basically, when we are shallow with ourselves, that we shallow in our relationships, right? And it's just like in the coaching world, right? Where we're like, we can only help other people as much as we help ourselves. We can only lead other people as much as we have. We can only help other people through as much transformation as we have for ourselves, right? It's the same thing with masculine and feminine energy. If we desire more feminine flow in our relationships and for our partners to step into their masculine more, what it requires is for us to step into our feminine more. And more and more and more. And yes, there will be triggers. And yes, it will, in the beginning, there will be so much resistance coming up. But lean into the resistance. Don't avoid it. Do not avoid the resistance, because it is showing you. One of the other things that I absolutely love that really helped me at the beginning of my masculine feminine energy journey, if you're like, what the fuck even is this? is actually working with our feminine cycle. Because what's happened over the many years of conditioning and even ancestral trauma is we've been conditioned out of like how fucking powerful our cycle is, our bleed cycle, our moon cycle, like what it all means. There is an episode on my podcast with Rachel Symington where she talks about it on my podcast, and I've also been interviewed on hers. Her podcast is called Bleed and Succeed. And when I learned about this and I learned to embrace it, it completely and utterly changed my whole fucking life. Because also, like, when it comes to business, I'm getting way off tangent now, but when it comes to business, right, for us women, we cycle. Anyone who identifies as a woman, we are not the same person every single day, like a masculine energy, right? Men cycle every 24 hours. They have all the archetypes in 24 hours. Us women have it over roughly 28 days. As an estimate, right? Which means that we are not the same person every single day. But we've been conditioned that we are not consistent. We are not strong. We aren't capable of doing things. That we are too much of emotional basket cases, right? So leaning into that for me enabled me to completely reframe what it is to be a fucking woman, what it is to be feminine, what it is to like actually embrace my body's natural rhythm without feeling like it's a pain in the ass for 2 weeks of the month, right? The first week is the PMS, like, or PMT, whatever, the stressful, bitchy, painful stuff. And then the actual week of just bleeding, like it's a pain in the ass, right? Like, oh, the shame of like a tampon dropping out of your pocket, like just all this sort of stuff. But actually, it's now how I run my business. I run my whole fucking business around my cycle. Because there are massive powers in each one. And right now I'm in Crone. I am surprised that I felt the call to come on and talk. But my guides for this morning when I first woke up are like, bitch, you got to get on. So here I am waffling off what I was actually trying to talk about. But what is the archetypes that men have in a day? Woman, 28 days. Where can I go and learn more about that? Yeah, absolutely. So I speak about a lot here. I have a lot of this sort of stuff about integration in my coaching highlights on my Instagram. On my Instagram, there's coaching highlights like they're called coaching is the highlight. So it's heaps in there. On my podcast, I speak about it a lot as well. So my podcast is called High Vibe Babe. There is an episode on there with Rachel Symington. That's what the title is actually called. And she goes and breaks down all the archetypes, but I speak about it a lot, our cycles on my podcast as well. And I also, and pretty much, like for instance, High Vibe CEO Biz School, which is in pre-sale right now, which is changing probably tomorrow. One of the modules actually teaches on integrating this within your business, because there is so much fucking power and there's no more pushing shit uphill. So it's in quite a lot of my programs and quite a lot of my group coaching programs. And it's something that I infuse through everything that I do because it's just so powerful. But anyway, that was a side note on the side note. Okay. So relationships. Your relationship is not destined to be where it is now. With yourself or with your partner. You can grow. I promise you. I fucking promise you. He can learn to be in his masculine. But we have to remember that everything that we are experiencing in our external world is a reflection back on our internal world. You are not a victim. You're creating it. And if you've created something that you don't like, that's fine. You can just create again. And how you create again in this instance is your masculine and feminine energy. Tapping into what is keeping you where you are. Diving into your childhood trauma, right? Into your childhood patterns that you learned from your parents, or from your friends, or from your grandparents, or from like, you know, your really close family friends, right? Or aunties or uncles. Your first relationships, your exes, or your current partner's in-laws, what they modeled. You feel that? Yes, girl. What they have modeled, what they have pushed on you, what conditioning you have received, right? And then in your internal world, what happened when you weren't safe? What did you do? Do you break down? Do you actually feel the feminine? Or do you like just be like, nah, bitch, let's just get this done. We're going to be good. We're going to do the 10 steps to like smash this shit out. And then we're going to like just carry on, bitch. Like we're going to get this done. It's very masculine energy. And the way I describe masculine and feminine energy within ourselves is it's not a balance. It's not a fucking balance. It's not 50-50, it's not even 40-60. What it is, the way I describe them, is one of them, you know, like cake batter, when you make a cake? I don't know, I'm an ex-professional baker, so this is like I always use baking analogies, let's be honest. So anyway, the way I describe it is like the masculine, one of the energies, it doesn't even matter which one, but you know, like in a cake, you have to have flour and you have to have an egg, okay? You have to have flour and you have to have an egg. You can have substitutes, but if just a good old cake, a basic bitch cake, you have to have flour and you have to have egg. They're both really, 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 really important. But they're not equal volumes. You'll probably have like 3 cups of flour and 1 fucking egg. Or 2 eggs maybe. And they're completely different substances. Like the riverbed and the river. They go together, but they're not the same. They're not equal. They aren't balanced. Together they create harmony for us, but it's not about like having 50% masculine or like, oh, I need 70% feminine and is that even right? 70% feminine and 30% masculine. No, it's not even about that, and it will change. And it's really interesting because in my coaching and stuff, my clients always tell me I'm so feminine. I'm so feminine. You're so feminine. The way you teach, it's so feminine and powerful, and you channel, and it's amazing. And I'm like, yes. But on the inside, I don't really, I do feel feminine, but I don't just feel feminine. I love me some masculine energy, man. I'm a manifester, which is actually a masculine energy type. I love me some masculine energy, honestly. I love to get shit done. When I want to get shit done. When I've got the energy to. Not when I don't. You generators also are going to be like, yeah, I love to do the things. I love to fucking do the things. And projectors are like, I love to watch other people do things. But sometimes even that's too much because I feel tired just thinking about them doing the work. Like, honestly, and I feel very, not balanced, but you know, like a tasting, you know how you go out for dinner and at the end they have this finale dessert thing where it's like a tasting platter of all the different desserts, and you're like, I don't have to pick fun now anymore, I can just have them all. That's kind of what it feels like on the inside for me. I have a little bit of this, a little bit of masculine, a little bit of feminine, a little bit of masculine. Like it's like a tasting platter constantly. It's like when it comes to masculine and feminine energy for me. But it's on the inside, I feel more masculine than feminine probably. If I had to pick one, I do feel more masculine than feminine a lot of the time. I feel like with my conditioning of, you know, being an office manager in accounting and stuff, and my conditioning of being raised by a very masculine mother and a lot of real yummy masculine energy. Like, we were the kids, so I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. Us girls keep up with the boys. Like, we did motocross. Like, we changed our own fucking oil in our cars. Like, we were very, like, women can do anything. We'd fix the fencing around the farm. Like, honestly, we were, like, so proud that we do all the... Like, I literally have a sister who's a fucking mechanic. Like, other sister is a hotshot chef. Also, by the way, which is a masculine... You know, what's that thing called? Masculine, male-dominated industry. Who, by the way, has just released her fucking pre-seller, her book. So she coaches me for a year, one-on-one coaching. She is amazing. She's also part of my team. She does a lot of work for me on my team. Her handle is The Keto Chef's Kitchen. And she has just released her first book on pre-sale. And she is like... I'm not allowed to say too much because she is like... I know more than other people are meant to know, but like, it's going to be a very famous book is all I can say. Like, media are losing their shit. So please go on. Like, she's been like endorsed by like this massive chef, like honestly, who's like, she's amazing. Okay. She's amazing. At the Keto Chef's Kitchen is her handle. Oh my God. Anyway. So internally for many years, I felt like I was battling this like really masculine drive in my head. And now it feels like a lot more like, yeah, I'm tasting the feminine now. I'm having like the crunchy something. And then I'm having like the mousse. Like, it's just a tasting platter. It's what it feels like in my life right now. But it's really interesting that people just think I'm really feminine because I'm like, no, I would be a fish on the floor if I was just feminine. Like, we have to have like without the masculine container, like of the glass, right, for the water is just a puddle on the ground or a puddle on the bench. You have to have the masculine container to hold the water, to have it where it's meant to go. So anyway, I've gotten like pretty much way off topic. But basically, when we desire that more, our men to, or women, to step into their masculine, right? When we desire that and it's not happening, we have to go internally and see what in us is preventing that from happening. Because remember, you are not a victim to your circumstance, you are creating it. There is always so much for you to do, and what happens is when we play the victim, right, that, oh, they've got so much wounding, or, oh, they don't step into their masculine, oh, they won't lead, oh, they're too shy, oh, you know, they're not going to do it right. What happens is we hold them in that frequency. We hold them in that vibration. And it's normally just a fear. Honestly, it's just a fucking fear. It's not a fact, it's a fear. Our mind has convinced us that it's a fact, but it's actually turned into a fear. And we're living our lives by it. But I'm here to tell you and share with you that it's not always going to be like this, babe. It's not always going to be like this. Your relationship with yourself and your partner gets to continually get better and better and better and better all the time. And I'm speaking from a 10-year marriage. I've been married for a decade. In a couple of days, my husband and I have been together for 13 years. Yep. We met when we were teenagers, by the way, in case you didn't know. And yeah, it's not all been fucking rainbows and sunshine, that's for damn sure. But to see that growth and that evolution over that time, to know where we came from, to know just like a couple of years ago sitting there being like, why can't he make dinner? Why can't he do the kitchen? Why can't I just lean back and just love the things that he's cooking and like just play with the kids and like sit on the deck in the sunshine and like, you know, have a bevy and just be like, yeah, why can't I do that? He's doing those things. Why the fuck can't I do it? And then it's my life. It's my fucking life. So if it's something you want to learn how to do, Go hit my free resources. Go hit my podcast. Go hit my Instagram highlights. Go hit my Instagram IGTVs, right? Go hit my reels even. And be in my energy. If you're being called into more, I have many fucking offers. I always speak about masculine and feminine energy in my containers. In every single one of my containers, I speak about it. About our cycles, masculine and feminine energy. Everything is connected to everything. So if you're being called into my world, I'm here. I run group coaching programs. I have a high-level mastermind. I work with a very select few one-on-one private clients who are scaling to multiple six figures. This is what I'm here to do, is to serve you. I love you so much. Speak to you soon. Bye, babe. If you have enjoyed this episode, I would adore if you would screenshot it, chuck it up on your stories with your favorite takeaway moment, and tag me at HiVibeBabe on Instagram so that more people can see this and get this content and get this message out there to really shape and change and impact other people's lives. Do you desire to be around more high vibe women who really get you, who encourage you, who support you no matter what? Yeah, well, guess what? I have a place that you belong. It is called High Vibe Babes Community. It is a free Facebook group and I would love to have you in there. There are so many free trainings and epicness in this group, so please get your booty in there. It would mean the world if you would subscribe to this podcast, do the reviews, the rating, the stars, all of the things. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to chat with you on the next episode. I'm sending you all of the vibes and all of the love. Over and out from Angharad, the High Vibe Babe.